Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today, Trump's new nominee for a top job, the state investigating claims of election fraud, and the infant medicine recalled. Plus, why the host of the Oscars stepped down and Walmart's secret Santa. Those stories and many more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Friday, December 7th. You ready? Let's do this. President Trump is expected to make a big announcement this morning in a tweet. Fox News reports Trump will likely tweet today that he's nominating Heather Nauert to be the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Right now, Nauert is the spokeswoman for the State Department, and she used to be a Fox News host. A senior administration official told ABC News she would be a, quote, astounding advocate for America, calling her smart and hardworking. But critics are not so sure. They worry she does not have the background or experience or knowledge for the job. The UN ambassador represents the U.S. at the UN Security Council and would deal with sensitive and important negotiations with leaders of other countries. If the Senate confirms the pick, Nauert would replace Nikki Haley. Haley said in October that she'll be leaving in the new year. It's a month now after Election Day, but there's still election drama to tell you about, this time in North Carolina. There are serious fraud allegations in the race for a U.S. House seat. It was always close, but everyone thought Republican Mark Harris won by just more than 900 votes. But now NBC News reports witnesses and records are helping to support allegations that someone tampered with absentee ballots, hundreds of them. There are even calls for a new election, and it might happen. Democrat Dan McCready said yesterday he's back in the race and withdrew his concession. The State Board of Elections even voted to wait before giving the election the final okay. Even a top Republican in the state says this needs to be worked out and called for a public hearing to lay out all the facts. The Eiffel Tower in Paris will be closed tomorrow, along with other tourist sites there. Reuters reports authorities aren't sure they can guarantee safety for visitors because of planned protests. Remember last weekend, rioters in Paris torched cars and broke store windows. Protesters from what's known as the Yellow Vest movement have been calling for a fourth weekend of riots now. Lower and middle income workers are upset about rising gas prices and taxes. The New York Times cites the other side of the issue, though. Environmentalists say the taxes are needed to get us off of fossil fuels and slow climate change. Tens of thousands of police officers will be on duty this weekend in Paris, getting ready for protesters. A major winter storm is on its way today. AccuWeather says heavy snow, ice, rain, and thunderstorms will be hitting the south-central U.S. today through tomorrow, and it's expected to travel east from there. CNN says winter storm watches were already in place as of last night for millions in northern Texas, Oklahoma, and parts of Arkansas and Missouri. And farther south, heavy rain could cause flooding issues. Already yesterday, heavy rain hit California and caused some problems there. A Southwest Airlines flight slid off the runway in Burbank, California. Everyone's okay, though. Heads up, parents, there's a recall on some infant ibuprofen. The impacted drug was sold at Walmart, CVS, and Family Dollar stores across the country. CBS News reports the infant ibuprofen has a higher concentration of the medicine than it should, which would give the baby too much at once. At this point, there have been no reports of serious injuries from it. I'm linking to the list of specific brands and expiration dates that are impacted, so you can find that in today's show notes on thenewsworthy.com. Well, if you know kids that are sick, this may cheer them up. It's today's sponsored story, all about the new holiday podcast, Welcome to Tinseltown. This is a great way to spend a Saturday morning with the kids or share it with those friends who are obsessed with movies like Frozen. Christmas is right around the corner, so join Holly as she makes a wish for it to be Christmas every day. She's transported to the magical realm of Tinseltown, but she gets stuck. Here's more from Holly.
A story about one of the most enchanted places on Earth, where trees grow gumdrops and the Yetis skate on Sugar Plum Pond alongside elves. Do I ever have a tale for you?
This is a highly produced, heartwarming story, and all 7 podcast episodes of adventure are available right now for free. It's sure to get you in the Christmas spirit, so subscribe to Welcome to Tinseltown on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search Welcome to Tinseltown. It's spelled Tinsel. Welcome to Tinseltown. Now back to the news. Lyft is well on its way to selling its stock on the public market. The AP reports Lyft has taken the first steps for an initial public offering, or IPO, to list its shares on the U.S. stock market. The IPO is expected to happen early next year. Lyft's competitor, Uber, also has plans to do this next year. They could raise billions. Speaking of Uber, starting next week, the company will put its self-driving cars back on the road. Well, they'll at least be on a 1-mile-long loop in one city, Pittsburgh. Remember, Uber pulled its self-driving cars off the streets after a deadly crash in Arizona back in March. Now they're giving it another go, a little more cautiously. And Uber isn't the only one. This week, Waymo's self-driving car service will hit the streets and be the world's first commercial driverless program, aka people will actually get charged for the rides. We did talk about this last month, but now it is happening. Waymo, which is owned by Google's parent company, launched what it calls Waymo One. The test is happening in the Phoenix area. It's meant to be like a self-driving version of Uber and Lyft, but for now it's authorized users only, and The Verge says there are still trained drivers behind the wheel just in case. It's a historic rivalry. The Army and Navy square off tomorrow afternoon at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. They'll be playing for the 119th time. The local ABC News reports President Trump will be there for the Army-Navy Game. He'll be the 10th sitting president to attend. Barack Obama was the most recent. The U.S. Naval Academy superintendent said the game shows the American people that they can be rivals on the football field and united in their defense of the country's freedom. Comedian Kevin Hart will no longer be hosting the Oscars. He stepped down last night, and it all played out on social media. First, he posted an Instagram video explaining the Academy gave him two options: apologize for some old homophobic tweets or step down as host. He said in that video he will not apologize because he's already addressed the issue and has changed. But later in the night, he tweeted that yes, he will step down, and he went ahead and apologized in that tweet. He said, quote, "I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words from the past." No word yet on the new host for the Oscars. The Academy Awards are February 24th. A movie that is not even in theaters yet got the most nominations for the annual Golden Globe Awards. Vice is a movie about former Vice President Dick Cheney. It comes out on Christmas Day, but Variety reports it's leading the way with 6 nominations. A Star is Born with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, as well as The Favorite and Green Book tied for second with 5 nods each. You'll find a link to the full list of nominations in today's show notes. The Globes are on January 6th. And here are a few good news stories for your Friday. The first, from our friends at the Good Newsletter. Apple, who works with the organization RED, found the number of babies born with HIV in Africa has gone down by nearly 2/3 over the last couple of decades. A big improvement. And Bloomberg reports the outdoor clothing company Patagonia donated $10 million of its tax savings to nonprofit groups working on climate issues. You can get more good news at goodgoodgood.co. Okay, and I found one more for you for the holidays. Anonymous Good Samaritans have been paying off all layaway items in various Walmart stores around the country. It came out that celeb Tyler Perry was one of them. He paid more than $400,000 in Walmart layaway items at 2 different stores. And CNN reports others paid a total of $130,000 in 4 different stores. Also, strangers could get their holiday gifts for free. And that's it. Thank you so much for listening today. I would be so grateful if you would share the newsworthy with at least a few friends this weekend. Let them know why they should definitely be listening as well. And as always, if you want to read more about any of the stories mentioned, I list all the sources and story links for you in today's show notes. Just head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 in the morning. I'll be back with more news on Monday. Have a great weekend.